Emma,
Yes.
when I met you, I did not expect to be having this conversation. Executive coach in healthcare, leadership, nursing, hospitals. Then all of a sudden, LinkedIn. Huh? How'd that happen?
Good question. So I had always liked LinkedIn as part of my corporate career.
I'm going to stop you out there. Why?
Let's just put it out there from the beginning. I'm a nerd.
Okay.
And when I started working in sort of statewide healthcare, I used to travel a lot to hospitals across New South Wales, and I used to meet lots of really senior people. And for me, it was a way of connecting with them after I'd met them, look them up on LinkedIn. I don't think I used to send connection messages. I think I just used to send them a connection request. And
So then they'd have to try and remember your name and face
yeah.
to know whether they trusted you enough to accept.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I do love a bit of a game. And so LinkedIn, when you've got less than 500 connections, it shows everyone how many connections you have, a number less than 500. And then if you've got more than 500, it just says 500 plus. And so back then I was like, okay, well, I want that to say 500 plus.
I don't think I know anyone else that would have that as a goal. Like to pick that tiny little feature in LinkedIn and go, that's my goal.
Yep. And so now I know that that's like a confidence measure for LinkedIn around, how active you are on the profile, how well connected you are on the platform. And so for a while there, I wanted that to say 500 plus. And so I sent lots of connection requests to everybody I knew and some people I probably didn't know at the time. So that's kind of where it started, fast forward like 15 years or so. And I'm building my executive coaching practice, and LinkedIn seemed like the obvious place to look for people in healthcare who might be looking for coaching. And so I took to LinkedIn and I revamped my LinkedIn strategy, so to speak. And then I invested in some professional development around LinkedIn. So I had a LinkedIn coach, a personal branding coach, and I learned a lot from her and I absolutely loved that. And so the platform really became alive for me then. And I started creating regular content with a strategy, having an outreach strategy to grow my network on the platform, which was all good. And, I think I've said to you before, most of my clients find me on LinkedIn, and, that's how they find me. And so it's a good stream for my business. It's also great for me to keep connected with other healthcare professionals and leaders and staying true to sort of my roots, so to speak. I want to stay within the healthcare industry, with my coaching, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't want to become very disconnected from it and not knowing kind of what's going on and all of that. So that's important from that point of view. But then I realised that other people don't love LinkedIn like I do.
Really? Yeah. I would never have thunk it. There's people that don't like LinkedIn.
There are people that don't like LinkedIn. And so when I would talk to people about, my business, and they'd ask me, how it was going, and I'd be like, oh, I use LinkedIn for lead generation and most of my clients find me through LinkedIn. People were like, LinkedIn what? And so I realised that LinkedIn was a thing that lots of people were interested in. So a lot of people would then say, well, how does that work? How do you find ideal clients on LinkedIn? How do they find you on LinkedIn? And then people would say things like, I don't know how to use LinkedIn. Like, it's not intuitive. I don't know what buttons to press. And so I saw an opportunity, I guess, and have been offering LinkedIn coaching for other business owners for a little while. And I absolutely love that work. Just start me talking about LinkedIn, I could talk forever. But one of my main issues with having that as a stream in my business, that it was very disconnected from the rest of my coaching practice. Yep. And so recently I've been able to link the two, and I have incorporated sort of LinkedIn coaching as part of my career coaching for healthcare leaders.
I can see how it can link. So I'm glad you've done that, because I can see that LinkedIn lights you up But if it was too separate to your other stuff, it's not necessarily sustainable.
Yeah.
So I like that you've done that.
Yeah, it's taken me a while to sort of find the link. And I recently ran a masterclass online for healthcare leaders supporting them with how to use LinkedIn to share what it is they're passionate about and share what it is that is different about them. And also as a way of supporting their professional development. And so that was pretty cool.
I like that, blending something that you're really passionate about with, what your regular work is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just turn into a glorified hobby.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But LinkedIn, I think there's still so many people out there that just see it as a glorified resume.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that just see it like that, especially if they are still in the regular employment world.
Yeah.
If they change jobs, they might add it to LinkedIn. If they get a promotion, they might add it to LinkedIn. They don't use it for anything else. Maybe games occasionally now. Those games.
Don't sign up for them. They don't exist in my world.
Oh, don't they? No, I get the notifications. You've fallen behind. You missed a day. It feels like it's Duolingo, but on LinkedIn, except Duolingo threatens you, from what I've seen. LinkedIn hasn't threatened yet. But for people that have just been using it as a resume, what's the easiest way for them to, I suppose, start making it a bit more worth it?
So I think from my journey, having used it, as when I had a job and having, had a bit of a network there, it was very much like a CV for me then. But obviously now I've done a career pivot. It's actually served me really well. Never would I have thought that my quest to get to 500 plus connections on LinkedIn would then become, a client building strategy in my own business. I never ever would have thought that I would have my own business. I never, couldn't see that, that might happen one day. So I think, there's something in there about you never know what you might end up doing or where you might end up.
Yep.
And how something like your LinkedIn profile could be helpful. I think for people who are on LinkedIn and if they want to make it a bit more interesting, you can sort of curate your feed in LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And so I would, as a first step to make it a bit more of an interesting place for you to hang out, I would recommend searching for sort of people and topics that you're really interested in. If they're connected to what you do professionally, that's good. And then following them or connecting with them. When you look at someone's profile, whether that's a personal profile or a business profile in LinkedIn, on the top right, there's like a little bell.
Okay.
And so you can ring the bell on people. And so if it's someone whose content that you really like and you're interested and you want to see it, you can toggle the bell so that you always get a notification when that person posts content.
Yeah.
And then that helps you, that shows the algorithm what you're interested in, so that algorithm will then show you more things like that. But also it makes your feed more interesting to you. And if it's something you're passionate about and you're really interested in, it's going to be easier for you to engage in that content. Yeah. And LinkedIn, wants us to be on the platform engaging in content.
It's the same as any other social media platform. They don't want you to leave. They want you to spend more time there, and they have built their algorithms to make sure that happens.
Yes.
So if you're seeing boring as shit content on LinkedIn, that's because you haven't trained it.
Yep.
It's not because every single person that's on LinkedIn is boring.
Exactly right.
It's just because the only people you're following on there are, your boss from 20 years ago who's probably retired by now, or your boss's wife from 20 years ago who never worked anyway, but you followed her back then because it was the right thing to do. And I'm a huge fan of curating your feed on any social media platform to make you not hate it.
Yep. Yeah.
Because especially business owners, we need to be there.
Yes.
We need to be on these platforms, no matter if we like them or not, but we can make it less painful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for business owners, a LinkedIn profile can set you apart from your competitors, depending on what your business is. But I think it's a real sort of trust signal and a credibility signal for business owners to be on there. LinkedIn is full of small business owners. There is a plethora of them, and you can find them. So if you can find anyone on LinkedIn by, what they do for a living, location-wise. So if your ideal client for your small business is, I don't know, they're lawyers on the North Shore of Sydney, for example, you can search LinkedIn for lawyers on the North Shore in Sydney, and you'll see hundreds of them, and you can follow them, you can stalk their profile, you can connect with them, you can send them a connection message, or you can send them a connection mail. And so that's one of the things I really love about LinkedIn. And that's what sets it apart from other social media platforms. You don't just put content out there and hope that the right people might see it. You can specifically build your network with your ideal clients. And then when you put content out, the people that are more likely to see it are the people that are your ideal clients or referrers.
Yeah, that's another one on LinkedIn as well. Now, I know we talked about the whole gamifying the 500 plus and things like that, which is just the bit of fun part of it. But so say someone like where I was a couple of years ago with my own LinkedIn, so drawing on personal experience here, is I had a LinkedIn profile that was full of people that I'd followed and had followed me and we'd connected that I had zero interest in knowing anymore. Is it worth cutting that right back and getting rid of them, or do you just add to the top of it and hope to filter them out? What's the best strategy there for somebody who does have, maybe they've had a career change, like I did, I went from finance to social media. So I've got all of the finance bros, still some of them. I've done a big clean out, but is it best to do the clean out or is it best to just add on top? Who cares how many you've got?
Yep. I think, so when you're starting out on LinkedIn, connections are connections. And so I've recently worked with a couple of business owners on exactly this and how you keep that relevant to what you do now in case you ever want to go back is often a concern for people new in business and just sort of dipping their toe in. So I would always recommend that you keep those connections and then you start to add new connections that are your ideal clients. And it doesn't take long for the algorithm to go, oh, she's interested in lawyers in Sydney. And then it starts to recommend you profiles of other lawyers in Sydney, for example. So it doesn't take long to change that, but you're starting with a bit of a base of people.
Okay. So don't wipe the slate clean and start completely afresh.
I wouldn't.
Add to the top.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just add to it. And I think, with people that are thinking about or sort of in the early days of business and, they've got maybe a corporate sort of history on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile is yours and you could change that thing every single day if you wanted to.
Maybe don't do the push to feed every single time you make a tiny little change.
Yes, turn that toggle off. So you're totally in control of your LinkedIn profile. So if you, say you used to be a teacher and now you sell tablecloths, I don't know where I got that example from, you can just change your profile on LinkedIn and change the details. You can keep the history in there, in your career history if you want to. You can lose it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. And you can put it back in later if you decide you want to go back to being a teacher. So I think there's this fear around the profile that, it has to have everything in it.
I think that's because we're seeing it as a resume.
As a resume,
and
yes.
Resume gaps are dangerous.
They can be, yeah.
I had a stint in recruitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my career path. But anyway, no neurospiciness here at all.
None.
Where to go? But yeah, I think that's that mindset of still seeing it as a resume.
Yeah.
If we still keep seeing it as a resume, and you can't have a gap, you must fill it all in. You have to have all of your history because it has to tick boxes. Yeah. What boxes are you trying to tick here?
Yeah, there are no boxes to tick on LinkedIn, and no one cares on LinkedIn that you worked in McDonald's between 1992 and 1994 and that, what you got for your HSC. Like, it's all irrelevant, unless you're looking to get into uni, your HSC score is irrelevant.
Well, even then, as a mature age student, it's actually
Doesn't matter.
It's completely irrelevant now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're fully in control of that, and you can craft that to tell the story that is relevant. So for a lot of the sort of small business client or the business clients that I work with, we craft that so that it tells the right story, the current story. We leave in what's relevant and we take out what is not relevant. For example, mine hasn't changed that much because my career history in healthcare is directly relevant to my coaching practice.
Yeah.
So that's all still there.
But for what I do, my stint working at a dog boarding facility is probably not that relevant.
Probably not, no.
To what I do these days.
So you could lose that.
So that can go.
Yeah. And build your credibility and those trust factors in your LinkedIn profile that are relevant to what you do now. And there's lots of those in LinkedIn that you can use.
Such as?
Well, one of my favourites is the recommendations section in LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
So you can request someone to write you a recommendation, or you can write someone a recommendation.
I love doing these.
I really like it. They are hidden quite far down in your profile, but you can turn them into a post. But it's a really good way of demonstrating sort of trust and credibility in that way. It's also a really good way if you're in business to share goodwill between business owners. If you're happy, if you're really happy with a service, write a LinkedIn recommendation or a Google review or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Because quite honestly, the words that you use, most of the time you can probably pretty much copy paste.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Put it on Google, you put it on LinkedIn, you put it on Facebook.
Yep.
All three spots where you can put reviews, you can pretty much use the exact same words.
Absolutely.
The character limits are all about the same on all of them, I've checked.
Okay.
So it's not that hard, especially if you're B2B.
Yeah.
Because the other person understands. So when you're asking for a review, don't just give the Google link. Give all three.
Yeah.
And ask for the review across all three.
Yeah.
Because, I think I like LinkedIn recommendations. I think it's fun, but I don't like that it's all the way down the bottom for small businesses. I wish you could reorder that and put it up higher. But I haven't actually used them as creating a post from them yet. So maybe that's something in there as well.
There you go.
I like that one. What's the biggest mistake you see on people's profiles? Small business owners, we'll talk.
Small business owners.
Because that's most likely who's tuning in.
Yeah. So I think for small business owners, being really clear about what you do now. And so when you have, some stuff in your profile about how you were an IT professional and now you have your own business, it dilutes the message. So I think being really clear about who you are and what you do now.
Yeah.
So if people are searching for you or they're landing on your profile or they've seen a post and they go to check out your profile, you want it to be really clear who you are and what you do now. People don't care about what you did before. And then I think the other thing that I often see small business owners doing on LinkedIn is not creating content on LinkedIn, but wanting to be on LinkedIn. And so just sharing other people's content on LinkedIn. I think that's an old-fashioned LinkedIn strategy, that sharing other people's content was helpful. It's not really. We want people, if people are looking at your content, you want them to be able to see your content, what you stand for, what is it you're saying, and not that, you like Simon Sinek and so you shared a post that Simon made, and then you shared a post that someone else made, and then you shared a post that someone else made. So actually some authentic content. If you're sharing, another business owner's content that's relevant to your audience or relevant to what you do, not a problem. But you want to be able to see the voice of the profile.
I want to add something else into that. If you are sharing somebody else's and it is relevant to your audience,
say something.
Say something. For goodness sake. Yeah. It doesn't even have to. You can put the first paragraph of their post just into your own words if you need, if you can't think of your own opinion on it.
Yeah.
But when it actually says, do you want to share this post on its own or do you want to share this post with your thoughts? Share it with your thoughts, please. Yes. Please, please, please.
Yes, because we all have thoughts and LinkedIn in it, and particularly some of them aren't very good to share.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and the LinkedIn, especially with the new algorithm updates, it wants content, it wants opinions, it wants value.
Yep.
So it wants us to be sharing our opinions. And so if you are sharing something, even if you say, I saw this thing and it was really cool, you might want to use different words than that, but you don't have to say much.
No.
I'm sharing this because.
Yep.
Sharing
this
very
because
simple.
I think you might find this particular part of this interesting. There, done.
Yep.
You've added something to the conversation.
Yep.
Something.
Yeah. Because you want people to feel like they get a bit of an idea of who you are and what you stand for by looking at your LinkedIn profile and your LinkedIn content. We want people to feel like they know us and they trust us. And then, we're in business, right? We want people to buy from us, and they're not going to do that if they don't know or trust us.
Yeah. And if they don't actually know what you do.
Yes.
I think what I see, because I look across all platforms, is normally where I see the muddiest messaging is LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's because lots of people don't like it. Mm-hmm. They're wrong, but, and that's where I can help people, right? If you don't like it and it's really hard, it's then hard to know what to do. Even if someone tells you what to do, if it doesn't feel right, and so that's where I can help. But, I think, people tell me the platform's not intuitive or they don't find it intuitive. I mean, for me, it's intuitive. Maybe that's just because I've spent many years there now.
That'll be part of it.
Yes. When something's, it's different to Instagram and Facebook, right? It's different. And so if it's feeling a bit difficult and clunky, you're not really sure how to show up there. You're not really sure what the platform's wanting from you. And perhaps you've got this confused profile because you used to be, an IT bro and now you're doing something different. So I think all of that makes it hard for people to craft the message. And I think, the LinkedIn profile gives us so much real estate. There's so much in there that you can use. Most of the fields have really big text allowances.
Yep.
There's so many sections that you can turn on and features that you can use. I think that gets a bit overwhelming for people because that is different to the other platforms. But everyone has access to that same amount of real estate. And, a big part of when I work with clients, we spend a lot of time on the profile because it's really important. And you really can maximize the use of the profile. And so I think, that's the great place to start. If you can, get your profile with a clear message, then it's much easier for your content to align.
Yeah.
Or to make content that aligns.
This is one that comes up. This is a question I get asked a lot when I'm working with clients. And again, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades rather than a master of one. And I know what advice I give here. When you are putting content onto LinkedIn, profile or page for small business owners?
Interesting. So business pages on LinkedIn kind of only have one job, in my view. And that is just to lend a little bit of credibility and authority to your business, that your business is a thing. And the best thing that does when you have a business page on LinkedIn is that on your personal profile, you can get your company logo. But other than that, your business page isn't very helpful.
Yeah.
So business pages on LinkedIn have very, very, very limited organic reach. Mm-hmm. And so I would encourage business owners to have a business page, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So all content I would recommend being put out from your personal page. You can tag your business page if you want. You can reshare it from your business page if you want. But really, your personal profile is where the money's at.
Yep.
Is that the advice that you give?
Very close. I do say if you are regularly posting and if you have the capability to regularly post, at least once every month or every couple of months, do put at least one post every now and then onto the page. It can be the same one as you've done over on there.
Yep.
That shows anybody who is randomly Googling the business name and lands there that the business is still active and open.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's just to keep it And I don't really care what you share there.
Yeah.
I don't care. It could be an update on your opening hours. I don't care. As long as there's something in there at least once every couple of months just to show that it is alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you do it, treat it, spend an extra 5 minutes and double check that all your other details in there are still correct.
Yes.
If you've moved, if your hours have changed, if your website URL has changed, if you had it linked to a landing page for a special thing that no longer exists.
Yep.
So a quick mini audit and a quick nothing post.
Yep.
Just to keep it alive.
Yep, that's great advice.
That's, I suppose, the only real difference. But yeah, I totally agree. Don't put all your posts out on your business page. It doesn't do anything.
No one's seeing it.
No, it doesn't get pushed out to anyone.
Yep.
Anyone. You know, I think the only business pages that actually do any well on there are your news ones. So things like, you know, Economic Insider and things like that. But you're not that. It's the same as saying it's the same as logo design. If your logo is a swoosh and you're not Nike, no one is ever going to know who the hell you are and what you do.
Yeah. And I think with the business pages, you know, for big corporations, you know, their LinkedIn company page strategy is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Small business owners is different and not in that category. So unless you've got a really big business with hundreds and thousands of employees who have a requirement to post under the business banner, there's not much to be gained by spending much time there.
No, totally agree on that. Next thing, to pay or not to pay?
Good question. So, you know, LinkedIn Premium is expensive.
Yes, it is.
And if LinkedIn is your number one business growth and client acquisition strategy, pay for it.
Okay.
If it's not your main platform and it's not your main source of revenue, I don't recommend it.
Okay.
There are some additional features that you have access to.
You're talking about Navigator or?
No, so I think Sales Navigator's like extra.
Okay.
So there's like LinkedIn Premium and LinkedIn Career that kind of sit in the middle. And that's expensive, and Sales Navigator's like extra expensive. And quite complicated. Sales Navigator.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
We never do that again.
Yeah. Look, you know, if it's the main thing that you use in your business, like go for it. But to be honest, I don't think the money's worth it. You do get access to additional features, but none of them are game changers. You can certainly achieve a hell of a lot on LinkedIn. We know with a good profile and a good content and engagement strategy and showing up regularly on the platform. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that when I work with clients on LinkedIn is that we build a sustainable LinkedIn strategy for you. Yes. So I'm not all about let's get you on the platform, let's get you posting 5 times a day until our coaching package is up and then you drop off a cliff on LinkedIn. That's not helpful for anyone.
Nope.
And so with helping people to build LinkedIn strategies, we build that with sustainability front of mind before we even start. So, you know, if you're on LinkedIn or if you want to be on LinkedIn, where's that going to fit into your business development time? And if you've got half an hour a week, let's be honest about the fact that it's half an hour a week, and let's make that half an hour a week effective for your business and your goals, because different businesses have different goals, right?
Yep.
So, you know, we're not all here to, you know, try and take over the world and be, you know, multimillionaires. Some people, you know, have smaller businesses and they want a smaller business. Mm-hmm. And so therefore the strategy and the goals are different. So
yeah, I like the idea of keeping it sustainable because, unless you've got a team or you've got somebody doing it for you, most small business owners can't keep up those mythical posting cadences that all of the gurus say you need. No, you need to know what you can do and to do just what you can do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll burn out on any platform. That goes for anything.
Absolutely.
You'll burn out on it and you'll actually end up hating it more than you did to begin with.
Yeah, it gets really overwhelming. You know, it's like people often will talk to me about LinkedIn. They're like, oh, I should do LinkedIn, you know, but I do Facebook and I do Instagram. Well, that's cool. You can add LinkedIn, but why do you want to add LinkedIn? And how is that going to fit? Because you can't just copy and paste those posts into LinkedIn. So let's think about, why and with what end in mind before you get started. And I think when it becomes overwhelming, then everything goes to pot, right? And the LinkedIn algorithm, similar to the others, I'm sure, it likes consistency. It likes you to show up regularly. If you post and run, the algorithm is not going to boost that post to as many people as it can. If you post and then spend some time on the platform engaging, then your post is going to be seen by more people. So, we can love or we can hate algorithms, but they are what controls what gets seen on their platforms. And so, let's learn about the algorithm. Let's make it work for us. Just remembered something. One of the really good things I like about LinkedIn for business growth is that you can access all of your connections and you can download them and take them out of the platform.
Yeah.
Which is very cool because your connections on other platforms, they're not yours. They belong to the platform. And if the platform disappears tomorrow, so do all of those connections and followers. But on LinkedIn, you can download that information into a spreadsheet and that is then yours. So if LinkedIn disappeared tomorrow, I probably need to do it because I haven't done it for a while. But I have access to however many connections I had last time I downloaded it.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever you want with that data. You can run some automations on it, put it through AI or just do some basic Excel sorting, and you can get, lists of particular, groups of ideal clients.
I like that. I've downloaded mine before just for safety purposes, but I've never done anything with it or thought about what I would do with it. It's one of those backup purposes because I back everything up a million times.
I should do that. So what that can give you is, an amazing outreach strategy. So one of the things I did recently was I searched, actually I didn't do it, my partner did it because he's the Excel nerd, not me.
I've got one of those as well.
They're handy.
Yes.
Sometimes. He sorted my 6,000 lines of data by job title.
Ooh.
And so that formed the basis of an outreach strategy to healthcare CEOs for me.
Because with LinkedIn, you can get that deep on that data.
Yeah.
The others you can't.
Yeah. There's so many data fields in that download that you could search it for everyone called John if you wanted to, if, people called John were your ideal client. You can search it by anything pretty much in those fields. And so that's very powerful for building outreach strategies.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea of actually pulling it out to do something with it because, I do say my husband's more the Excel nerd than I am, but I am ex-finance.
You know your way around a spreadsheet, I'm sure.
I know my way around a spreadsheet. And already just now as you're saying that, I'm ticking over going, oh, what could I do with mine? Like I say, I've only used it as a backup.
Yeah.
So just even thinking about, okay, what else could I do with that to actually do something useful with it rather than just have it sitting there in case the platform dies. I like that. You've just given me something to do.
Oh, there you go. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure you didn't have enough things to do.
I know, I needed more things to do during school holidays. Yay. But there was one other main thing. And I suppose it's how long's a piece of string type of question in a way, but it leads back to something you said before around don't just repost exactly what you've posted on other platforms over to LinkedIn. And so what I want to sort of say is, what is different? What do we need to do differently on LinkedIn when we are posting content? And it's not just what type of content works, because that changes week to week, month to month as they add new features or, carousels have to be PDFs and all of the rest of that technical crap. But what do we need to do differently, and why can't we just copy paste from Facebook over to LinkedIn?
Yeah, good question. There's kind of a number of things in that. So you don't need a pretty picture for LinkedIn. like you do on Instagram.
It's a visual platform.
Yeah, so you can post pictures, and I always recommend that people post a variety of types of posts.
Yep.
But you don't need to find a pretty picture. In fact, LinkedIn doesn't like stock images, and if you post with stock images, just
quickly bundle AI generated images in with stock images.
Yes, please. Let's do that. If you post a photo of yourself, LinkedIn quite likes personal photos, not too personal, people. It's a professional platform. Sorry, couldn't resist. Also, LinkedIn doesn't like hashtags anymore.
No, none of the okay, I'm just going to put it right out there. None of the platforms love hashtags anymore except for YouTube Shorts. Not even YouTube Longs. YouTube Shorts is the only platform that likes hashtags now. I will put out there, I don't know about X because I refuse to use it since it turned into X from the bird. But none of the other platforms like hashtags anymore. Stop using them everywhere.
There you go.
I'm done with them. I'm done with hashtags. People put so much pressure on getting the right hashtags across all of these. Stop.
Yep.
Computers are clever enough to read your words without a hashtag in front of them now.
Yep. No hashtags. I have to
go into my ranty
all good
there because hashtags do my head in. Almost every customer that I come across my desk when I'm doing social media management for them or just, audits or whatever is, what hashtags should I use? Or can you use more hashtags on that? No, I can't because Instagram has actually capped us at 5 and they don't do anything anyway.
Yep.
Sorry.
I didn't know that about Instagram, so thank you.
Please continue.
So no hashtags, people. So no hashtags, no AI or stock images. And then, so Instagram posts ideally will have a good hook. So people will only see the first 2 lines of your post and then there'll be a little more button. And so if no one clicks the more button, then the algorithm gets a really clear message that post isn't very good because no one's interested in it. And so it deprioritizes it in the feed. So your first goal with an Instagram post? I don't know anything about Instagram posts. Your first goal with your LinkedIn post is to make the hook interesting so that people press the more button and then see the rest of your post. That sends a strong signal to the algorithm that this post is interesting and people want to read it. So dwell time is, a significant factor on the LinkedIn algorithm, just like it is on the others. So you want to make that hook strong so that it captures people's interest. Then we want our posts to actually be sort of easy to read in the way that, people write long form posts a lot on LinkedIn, and that's cool. The algorithm likes that, and, people want to read longer form content. But let's make it easy for people to read that content. If we're going to write some paragraphs, let's keep them short, and let's keep some white space in the post. Nothing frustrates me more on LinkedIn when I click the more button and then this endless piece of text pops up and it makes me want to lose the will to live. So, really, really, really long posts, cut them up. Make it 2, 3, 4 posts that aren't quite as long. If you're writing in paragraph, leave spaces in between the paragraphs. Make your
double
points,
space your paragraphs.
Yep. Make your points clear. Make it easy for people to read because we're all time and attention poor. And if we want people to read our stuff, let's make it easy for them. What else is different? So one of the things that people think often that LinkedIn is not appropriate for LinkedIn or LinkedIn doesn't like, and that's personal content. Actually, the people on LinkedIn actually want some personal content. Mm-hmm. It performs the best out of any type of content. And so in a good LinkedIn posting strategy, you would warm people up with some personal posts that are easy for them to engage with and people want to read, pictures of your face or your product or your business. People are actually really interested in that. So a part of a good posting strategy would be some posts that sort of warm people up, and then some posts that talk about what you do and the success that you have with what you do, maybe some client testimonials, and then a sales post. So people also think that you can't sell on LinkedIn. And
you can. It can work really well.
Yeah, you absolutely can sell on LinkedIn. Yep. So no one's going to buy from you if they don't know what you're selling. And they're not going to buy from you if they don't know the outcome of buying your thing. So, you know, I'm a coach, and coaches are renowned for, you know, selling coaching packages that get you X amount of hours of coaching and X amount of email supports and X amount of PDFs
but
or
what
journal
does that
prompts.
actually do for me?
Yes. What's the benefit you're selling?
Yes.
What's the outcome of this package? And that's what people actually are more interested in.
Yeah.
So, you know, a good posting strategy on LinkedIn has lots of different types of posts.
Video. We all know I love video.
You do.
I'm going to bring it up.
I do not
because
share.
it is different on LinkedIn to the others. I mean, I do repost a lot of my videos because I quite honestly can't be asked redoing the sizing and everything and the ratios. But I know I should. But does video actually perform on LinkedIn?
Good question. So I don't share your love of videos.
I know.
Especially when they've got me in them.
There's a camera over there.
I know. Hi, camera. I'm intentionally not looking at it.
I told you not to.
Okay, I'm doing...
So now you're just doing what you're told. It's fine.
Okay, I'm good at that. So video on LinkedIn is great.
But?
Yes. So people want to see video on LinkedIn. So people actually want to see who you are and how you sound, particularly in my line of work. No one's going to hire a coach without having had a conversation with them or heard them speak. Because if my voice is really annoying to you, you don't want to be a coaching client of mine. And that's okay. And so video content is really good so people can get a good feel for who you are, how you sound, what you stand for. You can build trust with people through video. But from I would call them a vanity metric point of view, videos don't perform that well. So they don't get pushed out by the algorithm to lots of people.
Yep.
You don't get massive numbers of views and likes and comments. But that doesn't mean don't do them, would be my advice. That leads me on to something else, which is vanity metrics on LinkedIn are not to be trusted.
Ooh.
So the metrics around, you know, how many likes, how many comments, how many reposts you get, that's not particularly relevant information, I don't believe, in a LinkedIn strategy. So we know that there are lots of people on LinkedIn who just lurk.
Yep.
Lots of people.
Biggest platform for lurkers.
Yeah, full of lurkers. LinkedIn lurkers are a thing. Mm-hmm. And so LinkedIn lurkers...
Do we have an anonymous group? Because I'm one of them. LinkedIn Lurkers Anonymous. Do we meet every Wednesday?
We can. Maybe that's a new revenue line for my business.
Maybe.
How to get you out of lurking.
Yeah.
So lots of people see content on LinkedIn. They read content on LinkedIn and they never, ever, ever post. They never like. They never comment. They never update their profile. They're just there. And they might share when they get a new job. Or they might update their profile to add their new job in there. And so that's really common. So when I started using the platform for business, I heard about LinkedIn lurkers. And then I have some real LinkedIn lurkers in my network. And so it's not uncommon for me to get a little bit excited when I get a discovery call booking through my website. I'm like, oh, discovery call, cool. Who's this? And I check out who they are. I've got no idea who they are. You know, I don't know their name. I don't know nothing about them sort of connects with me. And then I get on the discovery call with them and they say, I've been following you on LinkedIn and I know I want to work with you. Tell me what that's going to look like. And so my LinkedIn content has warmed them up. They've got a good feeling for who I am and what I do. And they've actually already made the decision to buy from me. So those sales calls are gold.
Yep.
And
that's gold for anybody out there in small business that struggles with the sales side. Anybody out there that does struggle with the sales side, especially selling yourself, because selling yourself and your own small business is a lot harder than being in sales for another business.
Yep.
And if you struggle with that, I want people to remember what you've just said there. The selling is already done for you if you do the marketing right.
Yep.
And I think this is one of the things about marketing that I love the most. If the marketing across whatever channels, digital marketing, whatever, I don't care. If any marketing is done right, the sale is done for you.
Yep.
You don't have to be the world's top salesperson to make money as a small business.
Yep.
If you get your marketing right. And that's a lot less confronting than being a brilliant salesperson.
Yeah, selling's hard. And so, when you get a client like that on a discovery call, it's gold. And I'd just like to call a little bit more of that in from the universe. Yeah. Thank you.
Tell me about it.
And I've also met people at networking events. So relevant for me, healthcare, leader, networking events. I had someone come over to me recently at an event and say, "Oh my goodness, you're Emma, aren't you, from LinkedIn?" And she was like, "You don't know me, but I've been following you for ages and I know I'm going to work with you one day. Not now, but one day." And then we had a lovely conversation, because what a great opener to a conversation that is. And
you've got to admit, that gave you that little dopamine hit at the same time, didn't it?
Absolutely. It was like, if I ever doubt the investment in time and energy that I put into LinkedIn, which I actually don't very often, because this is a fairly regular occurrence now. But if I ever was to doubt it, conversations like that are, great reminders that it's time well invested.
Yep. Even if those rewards, like you say, those vanity metrics, those immediate rewards, those immediate little hits that we all think matter so much aren't coming your way, keep going, because, the lurkers are real.
Yeah.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised what can come out of someone who's probably not even got a profile photo on there.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of people don't, and particularly in healthcare, people are terrible at promoting themselves. So lots of people don't have a banner image, they don't have a profile photo, but they're on there.
Yep, they're there.
They're there.
They're scrolling.
Yeah, and they're seeing stuff, and so the more you can show up on the platform and show people who you are.
All right, so if we're not at a point where people are approaching us at networking events saying, you're LinkedIn famous, what metrics can and should we be looking at?
Great question. So probably two main ones, I would say. The first one would be your network, so how many connections you have, not how many followers you have, how many connections you have.
What's the difference?
So connections, if me and you are connected, I can see your content, you can see my content. But if I just follow you, I can see your content, but you can't see mine. And so you can be strategic about whether you connect or whether you follow, but generally connecting is better. So numbers of connections is a metric that I have tracked very, very regularly.
Really?
At periods of time.
You started this whole thing with that as your goal. So I'm really not surprised that this is still gamified for you.
It's still gamified. In the next 2 weeks, I will click over 8,000 connections on LinkedIn. And, probably 90% of those connections are an ideal client of some sort. So intentional network growth should be a metric that is one of the things that you are focusing on in your LinkedIn strategy.
All right. So this comes back to, and this is something that I don't do anymore because I am actually sitting in the fear space of this, been burned, of when you are sending out connection requests to people and you are putting, your little blurb in there with however many characters you're allowed to put in there, how do you do it without sounding like, "Hello, dear, I saw your profile." Or one of the best ones that I get a lot, "Hello, sir." I'm like, dude, boobs.
Yep.
How do you not be that person?
A radical idea for you. Don't send a message at all.
Just send the blank connection request.
Why not?
These days, we've been told so many times not to that it feels like you're breaking a rule. That used to be how you did it. You'd just you'd see someone and go, "Oh, I like the look of you." Or "We met once 10 years ago." Hit connect.
Yep.
And send it off blank. But now you feel like you're breaking some unseen rule.
Give you permission to break that rule.
Break that rule.
I would actually say that's not a rule. If drafting a message and that you feel comfortable with gets in the way of you sending a connection request, don't send a message.
Just send the request.
Just send it. I've been sending connection requests on LinkedIn every day for probably 2.5 years now. I actually have an automation now, but for a long time I did it myself every single day. And for a long time I didn't send any connection requests with those, and any connection messages with those connection requests. And so every day I would search for my ideal clients, and then I would get a list of people, and I would literally on my phone, 'cause it's a little bit easier on the phone than it is on the laptop for this bit, connect, 10 to 15 every day.
And that's what you can do without being pinged as being a weirdo stalker and being blocked for stuff. Yep, okay.
Yep, 10 to 15 every day consistently. And I never even look to see who accepts those connection requests.
So that then you don't start going down that spiral that a lot of us, especially small business owners, especially female small business owners, even more so those of us that are slightly neurospicy, go down of, oh my God, they didn't connect with me. Why didn't they connect with me? I'm a horrible person. I'm going to go sit in the corner and eat worms.
Yep. I don't even look at that because I don't care, because tomorrow I'm going to send another 15 connection requests to other ideal clients. There's theory of abundance, right? There are gazillions of ideal clients out there. And if people choose not to accept my connection request, well, that's fine, because there's plenty more where that came from.
They might have looked them. They might just not like your voice, like you said before.
Absolutely. They might not like my face. They might not like the colour purple. My colour branding is purple. And I don't care. But also, people lurk on LinkedIn. People have profiles, but they don't actually go on the platform very regularly at all.
Unless they get a promotion.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the chance, they might not have seen it.
Yeah.
They might not be savvy enough with the technology that they know where those connection requests sit. They might just go straight to their feed when they go on LinkedIn.
Yep.
There's all the things, but it doesn't stop me from showing up again and doing it the next day, because I don't follow up.
I like that as advice, because it is very easy to get stuck in your own head with these things. Like I say, I'm sitting in that spot of you have to write a message, but every time I think of writing a message, I sound like Mr. Hello Dear over here.
And I think you can, if you want to send a message, you can have some template messages. I do send a message now with my connection requests, but I'm kind of not wed either way.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a huge difference to acceptance rates. And I think my current message, I actually have an automation, and it sends two. I think the first one is like, hi, I'm Emma. After 25 years as a healthcare leader, I'm now an executive coach. I help healthcare organisations and leaders to navigate the choppy waters of healthcare leadership. If you're interested in, talking about leadership, I'd love to have a conversation. Like pretty low.
It's kind of your elevator pitch in a
It kind of is, but it's not too salesy. Yeah. It's not like, oh, buy my package, you get 6 sessions, and it's kind of friendly enough. Ideally, it would have a bit of a call to action at the end, with a kind of a question. And it's really interesting. A lot of people just kind of reply with, thanks, or like, oh, I'll keep you in mind. Or it's interesting when you change the message, the responses kind of change. And I don't think there's a perfect recipe, but it doesn't matter, because tomorrow there's more connection requests going out, and like it's this kind of sort of automatic cycle that just continues on, and I'm not attached to the outcome because I have no control over the outcome.
Yep.
So for you,
that's some really good advice there.
Yeah, for you, I would encourage, just send connection requests. Find your small business owners, and send them connection requests, and keep doing it, and show up again the next day and send some more, and show up again the next day and send some more.
And I think that could work for a lot of small business owners that are possibly feeling a little bit, oh, is it right to do that? Because it's not like a Facebook friend request. It's not a friend request.
No, it's a business and professional platform.
It's different.
Yeah. And I think sort of along similar lines, I also don't connect with other coaches on LinkedIn.
Okay. Is that to stop yourself from going down the comparisonitis spiral?
Initially it was. So when I first moved into coaching, I was like, oh, I've gone from healthcare where I was connected with all my healthcare people. Well, now I want to connect with all the coaches. And yes, I was comparing, day one of my coaching business with someone else's 20th year as a coach, building their business, and, felt like I was coming up lacking. So there was that. But also the LinkedIn algorithm is very smart. And as a coach, if I'm connecting with coaches and engaging with coaches' content, it thinks I want to see more of coaches' content.
You don't.
I don't. Plot twist, I don't. I want to see healthcare leaders' content because healthcare leaders are my ideal clients.
And that's the industry you want to stay in touch with.
Yes.
To make sure that you stay relevant.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
The algorithm's smart. So, if you love accountants, random, but accountants aren't your ideal business, don't go connecting with all the accountants because LinkedIn thinks that accountants are what you want to see. That's a interesting example I just pulled out of my brain.
Really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I can't think of many accountants I would want to willingly follow.
Same, actually.
I don't think I even follow my own. Sorry.
But think about who your ideal clients are or who your referrers are if you're a referral-based business, and, input your time and energy on the platform there.
Yeah. Because we're all time poor and energy poor, right?
Yeah.
So, being really specific about the goals, what we want to get out of it, what we want from it, what we want to see.
Yeah. Get the algorithm.
How we want to feel as well. Because if you're, again, following all of the people in your own industry and it's making you feel like shit, get rid of that crap.
Yeah.
And if you're following a heap of stuff that is really, really boring and has nothing to do with your current business, unfollow that stuff. Yeah. Doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
You don't feel good on it, you get overwhelmed, you leave, you hate it again. We're going back to that very original cycle conversation that we had about everybody hates LinkedIn. Except you. All right, we are coming to a close, but is there any, for our small business owners, because that's who's listening, one big piece of advice that if they take nothing else from this, you want them to take home? And I've thrown you under the bus on the spot there.
Yeah, that's okay. I think my advice would be to make an intentional decision about LinkedIn. Think about, are your ideal clients there?
Yep.
And get some evidence about whether they are or they aren't there. Because you might think they are, but then if you go looking, they're actually not. Or you might think they're not, but if you go looking, they actually are. So make an informed decision about whether LinkedIn is a good platform to you and for you to invest your time and energy in. And if your ideal clients are there, build an intentional LinkedIn strategy that is sustainable for you and your business. Like I said before, even if that's a half an hour a week that you spend on the platform, that half an hour a week can work really well for you if you have a good strategy and you are sort of consistent with that.
Yeah.
I think that would be it, because I think there's a lot of people that have a profile and a business page, and it's always, one of the things that they think that they should do, and then they beat themselves up because they don't do it. But if it's not the right platform and your ideal clients aren't there, let's just give that away. Let's take that off your plate. But if it really is, if your ideal clients really are there, you're leaving money on the table by not being active on the platform. Whether active is half an hour a week or it's 2 hours a day, a strategy can be built for whatever time block you have available.
Yeah. I love that. And now, how can people find you? LinkedIn. Okay.
They can probably find me on LinkedIn.
Stupidest question ever. But anyway, keep going.
You can definitely find me on LinkedIn. Emma Clark Malika is my name on LinkedIn. I also have a website, and that is empoweringhumans.com.au. either of those ways will lead you to me, and I'm happy to have conversations with small business owners to help them work out if a LinkedIn strategy is appropriate for them. I'm not interested in helping people build LinkedIn strategies if it's not right for them. And if I don't believe that the platform is going to be helpful, I don't want to help you build a strategy, because that's a waste of everyone's time and energy. So I'm happy to help you make that decision. If you want to explore whether LinkedIn is useful for your business or not, I'm happy to have a conversation.
Perfect.